Hey, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here and Harafe. Okay, we've done some videos without her in there. She has an attitude. So you will see the golden giraffe. You'll see the golden giraffe pronounced Harafe in the video, okay? No attitude, no shade, just saying be quiet while I'm talking. Don't talk over me. That's rude. I'm excited for today's video. Hopefully, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. So I like new people, new visitors, new guests. You guys get a special VIP section. And then hopefully you're returning to the channel. Hey girl, hey, what up, my dude, what up? Welcome, all right? Welcome back for more of my 2 cents. Now, it has been a very eventful week. I mean, to say the least, there's been so much to happen. I've posted some shorts, and I'm really trying to gauge how to use shorts because I'm a pretty good marketing individual when it comes to social media, right? So, like, I don't lack in doing that. I know how to grow social media accounts. I know how to grow followings, audiences, target people, all of that. But I'm trying to figure out these shorts. Like, I'm trying to figure out how I want to show up in the shorts. If I need to be me, if I need to only ask questions and polls, if I need to repost things. I'm figuring it out, okay? So don't judge me. We just figuring it out, okay? But if you like the channel, if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing and sharing the content and liking the video. That means a lot to me, just to let me know that you've enjoyed it. And if you don't like it, you should. That's all I got for you on that. But welcome to the channel. There are 3 points I like to cover before we even get into any of our topics. Number 1, you are not alone. Number 2, you are not crazy. Number 3, God, your creator, still loves you. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on it. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing why there are more Harafe, please step aside. Today we're going to be discussing why there are more women in church than men. Oh my, wow. I mean, yeah, this is going to hit home because if you go into a church today or on Sunday, you're going to probably see more women in the seats, in the pews, in the audience than men. The ratio is by far unequal, okay? It is imbalanced. There are far more women lining the pews in the church, auditorium, all of that than men. And there has to be a reason why. And this is my 2 cents. This is my take on why this is. And I'm just going to say, I believe that women are innately designed and wired to crave or to seek leadership, right? Especially single women. And I'm not going to lie to you. We know that women do not like to be, okay, women are not a monolith. We're not all the same. And so let me give you the definition of innately before we proceed. Innately is an inborn characteristic, okay? Something that naturally occurs. It's something that's not forced. It's just already in you. You're predisposed, right? It's underlying. It's in the fabric of your DNA, innate. I personally believe that women are innately drawn to environments, organizations who have strong male presence, lead, power, all of that. And you have to look at that from the foundations of the world, like creation. People call God a man, right? We don't know. We do not know, okay? We don't. I'm going to venture to say that God is not a sex, right? It's a spirit. And it's not a being like a physical being, but it's a spirit. And with that, you all won't like hearing me say it or them or they, but that's the only thing I can think of because we do not know God to be a person, like a man. And we just have to be careful and cognizant of that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But from the fabric and from the creation of like all of what we know right now, everything always falls in line under a man, right? Like even in scripture, Adam. And then you go on to the kings and all of that. We go to the prophets. We go, everyone that's always been used in any line of creation or control is a man. And when we think of the downfalls, the kryptonite, if you will, for a lot of these powerful men in scripture, in life, in politics, in business, entertainment, it's always a woman. And so when I think of church and I think of the people who are sitting in the pews in the audience and are predisposed to these messages and some of the manipulation, some of the control, some of the, not so conducive growth, if you will, from these organizations, it's women who are usually at the receiving end or the bottom of the barrel for a lot of these situations and environments. And when you think about it, single women who don't have a man in their lives giving, leadership or giving any kind of plan of action, we crave that. I don't know if I should call myself an alpha female, but I am a pretty independent person. I'm married, but I'm a pretty independent person. I have my own thoughts. I have my own voice. I have my own desires. I have my own goals. There are certain things that have happened in my life since I've been a married woman where if I see something, I say something. I don't wait for things to be spoken through my husband if it's something that I can speak on myself and I can articulate from a place of authentic feeling, and I can do it respectfully. And I do that in church and outside of church, in business, in life, in my marriage, in my home, with parenting, with friendships. I don't require anyone else to be a mouthpiece for me. This ain't no Moses and Aaron over here. However, when you're in church, that's not usually the position. Even if you're single, you don't have that in your household, but you have that in your pastor. You may not have that in your household, but you have that in your spiritual leader, advisor, or overseer, and you allow them to be that voice. What usually ends up happening beyond that point is that women in church, this is a key, women in church do not tend to seek any form of authority outside of their pastor. They let their pastor be the authoritarian, which then turns into them saying things like, pastor said, you heard what pastor said, pastor tore the house down today. Everything is pastor, 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 pastor. Pastor, pastor, pastor said, pastor did, pastor's here, pastor's there. We're going with pastor. Let me ask pastor, did pastor say, pastor, what he show you? Pastor, pray for me. Pastor, be touching and agreeing with me. Pastor, can I get your... That's all of what that looks like, because there's no male presence in the life in any other format. Now, when you think of women in church who have husbands, by and large, I've grown up in church and I've seen women who come to church without their husbands. And you may be like, I wonder why that is. Because most of the time, men can sense bullshit. They just can't. They can see it, they can sense it, they can call it, and they're not going to come to church to allow another man to tell them what to do with their time, their money, their sources, their skills, any of that. And so most men are not going to come under submission to another man who's just using scripture to control other people. Now, every pastor is not like this, but there are some men who can really keenly sense when they are not connecting with another male and they're not going to be in their presence for spiritual purposes or otherwise. And I think that a lot of women can glean from that. Take the social cues of other men when it comes to church too. Okay, if you really want to know what's going on in relationships, usually you tap into a man's knowledge. You'll tap into a man's wisdom on how to deal with another man, right? How to get a man to be interested. Like all of these women out here buying these books from Steve Harvey, a twice divorcee, right? Or 3-time divorce, however many times. They'll buy his book on act like a woman, think like a man. But then you go to church and it's like, well, you got your husband that don't even want to go. Why do you think that is? It's not because he just wants to catch the game and relax on Sundays. It's because they're probably not feeling the right energy from that person. You have a lot of husbands who will say, I knew that cat wasn't right when I first met him. Is that so? You didn't want to fill us in? Their absence is your filler. When women talk about not being able to find a man in church, why do you think that is? Because the pastor isn't anyone that they want to probably be connected to or sit under, worship with, serve, or any of that. So we have to be cognizant of these telltale red flag signs, right? A lot of women will stay in certain ministries when they feel like they have a chance with the pastor. Y'all don't want to hear this, but I'm just being honest. Now, Jamal Bryant, you have your Brian Carn, you have all of these other younger pastors, some who are married and some who are not, but those two stick out specifically because they do not have wives. And that's for a reason. So when you have all of these ministries that are full of women, and I looked up online and I saw that PewResearch.org reported in 2019 that 61% of church attendance is female. 61% of church attendance in the U.S. as of 2019 was female. And it's women. And you have to know that this stems from something. There is some connection there. There is some correlation that speaks to the desire to be around male presence and energy and to receive that spiritual guidance and spiritualism and that spiritual leadership and connection, if you will. And a lot of times women seek that connection, and they have that emotional desire to have someone lead them and guide them. And spirituality is the number one thing that connects a lot of people to church. That's the number one thing. They want to feel closer to their creator and to the source that they believe in. And what better way than to have a pastor that you feel like can do no wrong, that can lead you in no wrong, that hears from God directly. And so you take that and you believe in that. And that's why my videos on idolizing pastors, pastors' appreciations are so huge. And it's like a clarion call for people to wake up, because what you're feeling is innately your desire to want to be close to a man. It is. It's your desire to want that. But I don't feel like, I don't feel like church is the only way you can get that. I don't feel like that's the only connection. You think about a lot of pastors who have wives or families who talk about being, feeling separated from their husband, or my husband is committed to the church. I bet he is, because he has so many women who has the energy of him being their man. Woo! That'll preach, right? You have wives, pastors' wives say that they, their husband is married to the ministry. That's a red flag. Like, I don't want to hear that about a pastor. I want you to love the ministry that you lead, that you may have planted and that you sow into, but I don't want you to be married to the ministry, because these people need direction for their own lives. These women and these men, they need their own lives. They need their own relationships with people outside of church and outside of you. And so you have to know that that is kind of to me, it's a pitfall when it comes to church. Knowing that there are so many women who sometimes feel like that void of not having a man in their life, as far as a relationship, a husband, a father figure, they tend to connect and draw to a pastor who then has that influence, right? Like, that's a lot of power to give one person. If you have a young woman who suffered from daddy issues or disconnections or divorce or abuse, and they find all that they feel like is perfect in a pastor, that's something that I would not even want to see manifested towards my husband, right? Let alone having that come towards your husband or towards a man of God from 30 plus, 50 plus, 100, 1,000 something women. Y'all have to understand that power is a drug. It is. Like, look at your politicians. Look at your celebrities. It is a lot to take on. And when you look at it, a lot of people become overtaken by that power and they abuse that power. So why are there more women in the church? Because I believe that all women desire to be led by someone, specifically a male who has energy and exerts themselves as a wise individual who can lead them and guide them, who can give them direction and insight on their lives and their futures, which most women desire from their husband or father figure. And now if you don't have those, you can get it from right here at church. This is community property. Okay? Yes. Pass go and collect $200. Well, give $200 in tithes. Give it. Go ahead, give it over here. That's the only relationship where you can have a man in your life and he don't actually pay for nothing for you. You pay him to be your pastor. Anyway, I don't get it. But I'm just saying, that's my 2 cents on why there are more women in church than men. I do not believe that men are just going to go for the okie doke. I believe that men hold other men to a higher standard. And if a man wants a relationship with God, he will probably seek it out on his own. Okay? And like I said, game recognized game. And a lot of men just ain't finna play with you. They not finna let you pimp them. Talk them out of their checks. And if they're going to serve you, they're going to do it on their own free will and volition, and you're not going to guilt them into it. Not a lot of real men gonna let you do that. So men who serve pastors in church, they usually do that, and they do it to a fault, to where they just at pastor's beck and call. My husband almost tried to be like that, a little teachy-weachy bit, but I wasn't going. Like, no, sir. It was quite a few times my husband emptied his pockets and just gave it to our pastor after church. And I was like, don't do that shit no more. Don't do it again. And tell me like I'm supposed to be excited when we got this bill due. Okay? He not going to pay. Don't even. It's a dark road. I don't want to go down there. Jesus, I've been delivered. I don't want to go back. But yeah, some men do serve their pastors to a fault. But then you have some men who are like, I'm good, love. Enjoy. Like, I'm not going for it. So do some soul searching. If you're a woman who is extremely committed to church and don't like nobody saying nothing about their pastor, ask yourself, why am I that about it for the man of God? Especially if he has a wife. Is the pastor my man? Right? Is the pastor my man of God, or is the pastor just my man? Is the relationship that I seek from my pastor blocking me from actually allowing the real man that God has for me, or the real man that I should be connected to? Is that energy being blocked by what I feel for the pastor? Something you just may want to consider. Look at your family lineage and the connection that the women in your family have to church. What has their lives looked like due to them being so committed to church? Right? Ask yourself. Are they fulfilled in all areas of life? Are they flourishing and thriving? Are they taken care of? Right? Are they committed more to church and all of the spiritual things? And are they lacking in other areas of happiness and fulfillment and wholeness and happiness? I just want to know. I just want to know if church is really giving you all that you need while all of y'all are sitting there together wanting the same thing. And it's usually a man. But I digress. That's my 2 cents on it all. Drop down in the comments below and let me know if you've noticed how many more women are in church than men. And what are your takes on that? Do you think that's innately in women to desire to be connected to and under the leadership of a male influence? Or do you just think women just want to be close to God, period, point blank, case closed? Either way, I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel. We would love to add you to our 2 cents crew. But until the next time, we'll see you later. Bye.